In this unit, we're going to be looking at what it is to be a Christian. You can see from all the images, these are from the Hill of Crosses, which is a pilgrimage site in Eastern Europe in a country called Lithuania. And all these crosses were placed there for people to show their faith and show their belief, even in a place and a time where it wasn't necessarily approved of and could actually cause them problems. Now, in today's session, in this first session of this unit, we're going to be starting to answer the question of what does being a Christian involve? Now, as I've already sort of touched on at the beginning by looking at those pictures from the Hill of Crosses, being a Christian isn't always easy. It can take great courage, but that's the brilliant thing about being a Christian. When we really do what Jesus asks of us, life is full of surprises and challenges. And that's what we're going to be looking at in today's session. Now, this image shows people from East Timor, and even when there's lots of suffering, we can help each other just like these people are here. Their homes have been destroyed in an earthquake, a terrible natural disaster, but they're helping each other to be brave and to trust in God. These people are showing us how Christians should behave, and they're showing us 4 things which I want you to really think about. They're showing us to be a Christian that we have to love God with all our heart. We need to love our neighbours as ourselves. We need to be ready to forgive over and over again. And we need to be able to trust in God no matter what happens. I want you to pause the video for a moment and think about those 4 things. How do you do those things? Now, as Christians, we're fortunate because we had Jesus who came down to earth to show us the way. Jesus was kind to everybody. He was always ready to forgive people when they'd done something wrong. And he went about doing what he could to help others. He comforted the lonely, he cured the sick, and he worked miracles so that people could believe in the power of God. Now, when Jesus was asked what was the most important thing in order to inherit eternal life, that is, to get into heaven, he explained it was not just one thing, but 2. Listen, Jesus said, the Lord our God is the one Lord, and you must love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: you must love your neighbour as yourself. So the 2 most important things for a Christian, according to Jesus, is to love God and to love others. Now, for our first activity, we're going to think about all the ways that we follow Jesus's example. And we're going to create a mind map. And in the middle of that mind map, you're going to write the words loving God and others. And around that, you're going to be giving examples of how you show that in your daily life, how your families show that, and how your schools show that. Now, these could be little things. These could be big things, but I want them to be personal to you. So, for example, you might be showing that you're loving God by going to church. You might show that you love God by saying your prayers every day. You may show that you love God by having some images in your house to represent your religion. How do you love others? Well, in the way that you behave, the way that you do things. So I want you to think of as many examples as you personally do to show that you love God and love your neighbours, love others. As a school, how you show that you love God and you love others. And how, as a school, you love God and you love others. So pause the video and come and join me once you've completed that little activity. Hopefully it'll only take you a few minutes to do. Now, Jesus tells us that the 2 most important rules are you must love the Lord your God and you must love your neighbour as yourself. And he shows us that one of the ways that we can do this is through forgiveness. And Matthew tells us a story of Peter speaking with Jesus and says one day Peter asked Jesus how often he should forgive somebody who's done something wrong to him. And without waiting for Jesus to reply, he says, what happens if that person hurts me again and again and again? Should I forgive him 7 times? And here is what Jesus says. Not 7, I tell you, but 77 times. What Jesus is telling us here is that we must always love God, no matter what. We must always love one another, no matter what. And in order to do that, we must be ready to forgive each other when we do something wrong. Now, for your final activity, I want you to write a short story. And in this short story, I want you to write about someone being wronged. Someone being upset, someone being hurt, someone being disappointed. However, what I want then to happen in your story is for the person who has upset the other to ask for forgiveness and for that person to be forgiven. So I want you to think of a situation. Maybe it's something in your life, maybe it's something that's happened to you, maybe it's something that you've done yourself where you have wronged someone in some way. And then I want you to think about how it felt to know that you'd done that and how it felt to need to go and ask for forgiveness. And when you went and said sorry, or your character goes to say sorry, how does it feel when that person is forgiven? So I want a nice short story of something happening, someone needing to be forgiven, someone deciding they want that forgiveness, going and asking for that forgiveness, and finally being granted that forgiveness. And all the way through, I want you to be charting what the emotions, what the feelings of the different characters are like. So I look forward to reading these. So good luck with your forgiveness stories.